Find the derivative of f of t equals to tangent t plus secant t, then evaluate f prime of pi over 4. F of t here is made up of two terms that are combined by addition. We can therefore work out the derivative of each term separately and combine the results by addition. F prime of t will equal the derivative of tangent, which is secant squared of t, and the derivative of secant, which is secant times tangent, both of t. Secant t, tangent t. The next step is to evaluate f prime of pi over 4, which means to plug a pi over 4 in for each of the t's. F prime of pi over 4 equals secant squared of pi over 4 plus secant pi over 4 tangent pi over 4. The first term, secant squared, means to evaluate the secant first and then square that result. I'll write the second term exactly as we see it so we can evaluate all of the trig functions at the same time. Secant of pi over 4 is 1 over the cosine of pi over 4. The cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. So I will have 1 over root 2 over 2. And then quantity squared. Plus, once again, the secant of pi over 4, which is 1 over root 2 over 2. And then the tangent of pi over 4. Now, the tangent is sine over cosine. So sine of pi over 4, root 2 over 2, over the cosine of pi over 4, also root 2 over 2. And since those match, they can cancel, and that's equal to a 1. And that's why the tangent of pi over 4 is a 1. One over the root 2 over 2 can be simplified by reciprocating the root 2 over 2 and multiplying it with the 1. So that will be 2 over root 2 squared plus 2 over root 2. The next step, I'm going to square out that first term. You square the numerator, 2 squared is 4. You square the denominator, root 2 squared is 2, 4 over 2. The second term, I'm going to rationalize so that I can end up with a common denominator so I can combine these two terms together. To rationalize, you multiply by the equivalent root that is in the denominator and put 1 in the numerator as well, so you have a form of 1. So I have 4 over 2 plus 2 root 2 over root 2 times root 2, which is a 2. We can reduce down the 4 over 2, that's a 2. And the 2's here can cancel, so it'll be 2 plus root 2.